All right, guys, I want to share with you the G-Shock Rangeman. This is the GW9400, and this is one of the Master of G series icon in the lineup, in the large digital G-Shock lineup. It's hard to beat this particular model here, I think, because of its overall look, its size, and features. Of course, it's a triple sensor, which I don't really use any of them. But for some reason, it's just got that cool factor, whether you're using them or not. It's going to be tough solar, multi-band 6, water resistant, just a beast of a watch, right? And I'm gonna compare it a little bit to the Frogman for a couple different reasons. One, I think it's okay to do this, even though I think you're talking two totally different watches, obviously, and the Frogman cost a lot more, usually double. And we'll talk about prices here in a moment, but I think, if you're having a hard time finding a frog or finding the justification in spending the double the price tag, I think you're still okay just rocking the Rangeman. If, you're using it for that large iconic G-Shock, and there's nothing wrong with that. The Rangeman still accomplishes that. It's a very good looking watch. So size-wise on the Rangeman, if I measure excluding like the crowns and the extra bits, so if I measure basically from here to here, you're looking at about just over 45.5 millimeter. If you measure the full width from the triple sensor thing over here to this pusher here, it's about 53 millimeter. The lug to lug measured from basically the screw to the screw is like 51 millimeter. And then the thickness is just under 15.5 mil. Weight on it is 92 grams. So if you can remember those measurements, and I'll put them down in the description for you, the Frogman is a 46 millimeter across here, 50 if you capture the full width of it, 52.5 lug tip to, well, from the screw to the screw here. So it's a little bit longer, 1.5 millimeter longer, but the size of it is actually very close, and the thickness is as well. It's actually 15.6 millimeter thick. Now this one has, more steel in its construction and a screw down case back here, whereas you have a 4-screw milled case back on the Rangeman. So whereas this one weighs 92 grams, the Frog is actually going to weigh 116 grams, a little bit heavier. I can feel it in hand, but I mean, you really have to have them next to each other. They're very similar. If you look at them, they're very similar in size. The Frog is offset. So if you're going to wear, on left wrist, if you're going to wear the Frogman, it's going to be probably more comfortable because it's pushed inward, up your wrist instead of digging in, not that this one really does that, but there's the potential for it to do it versus the Frog. So if I pop this guy on wrist, and that Frogman I'm showing you there is the, what is it called? I always forget the model. GWF1000. So that was the affordable one when I bought it, but now I just looked at the price on them and they're like $400 or something. I don't know what happened. Frogs usually go up in value apparently, so my buddy Michael has told me that numerous times. But so here's the Rangeman on my approximately 7.25 inch wrist. So, like I said, it's comfortable, it's lightweight, it has that G-Shock ability to be a large watch, but yet still comfortable on wrist. Now, when you get some flexing going on like that, like it might dig in. I mean, unless you slide it up your arm a little bit to avoid that. But I try to wear my watches where they just move around a little bit. So compared to how the Frog is going to wear on wrist, and I'll just gloss over the features of this watch. I'll put a link in the description to a much better detailed, description of all the functions and everything like that and how to use them. But you can see the Frog, I don't know, it has more presence on wrist, and it's because of this length here from, where it's very bulky and very large looking. It's like you're wearing some sort of space computer on your wrist almost, whereas the Rangeman just looks like an oversized G-Shock to me anyway. So if you, like right now, you can see on the dial, you have power save and it's in PM 226, Friday 4-3. This is how most people are going to look at this watch. That's how they're going to be displayed. It also has on the screen the power level with the solar. It's in medium, so I will need to charge this a little bit. And then you have that little clocky thing going on up there. So if you scroll through the modes, you have your world time function, and they're all in there, so you just cycle through them and you can select whatever one you want. Of course, you have your stopwatch and the split time on this guy. You have your countdown timer, and you can adjust that and change that. And it also is going to display the time up there, so you can keep track of the time as well when you're messing around with that stuff. Same thing with the alarm and the stopwatch. But so you have different alarms there. I forget how many alarms there are, but you have multiple alarms if you're using your watch as an alarm. And then this one's kind of cool. It has your sunset and your sunrise time. So sunrise at 5:35 a.m. and then sunset at 6:23. And you can forward. You can look back. Yesterday. You can go backwards or forward on that, and look if you want to keep track of that stuff. It's pretty slick. So that's really cool on the Rangeman. I would actually use that potentially versus some of the other things. Here's your multi-band. It'll tell you the last time it was received. You can force receive it. I can't get this one to do it for some reason. So, but it's been a while since it's received signal. My buddy Craig actually sold me this watch, and I think he bought it, never really wore it, maybe wore it once or something like that, and it pretty much sat in the tin. So I need to go set it out in the window and let it charge up and all that stuff and receive signal. So there's all that features. And then of course you can do your compass. You can scroll through your sensors here, barometer, altimeter, and then just hit mode to go back. So there's all that stuff. You can also hit adjust, and instead of the day of the week up there, it'll actually show your barometer there, so you can actually see that in real time and pay attention to see if your weather pattern is going to get better or worse or something. So there's all that. And then I'll shut the lights off and we'll do a quick illumination of both this and the Frog. But mostly I just wanted to show these next to each other. Let you guys take a look at it. I have the daytime savings off on this. I need to go through and adjust it. I just started playing with it. Let me get this guy out of the way, otherwise it'll overpower the illumination. So on the Rangeman, the button is very easy. It's right here in the front. You just go ahead and hit that. It's super easy. The buttons are easy to push and easy to use. Plenty legible. On the Frogman, it's going to be top right, and it's going to be more of a green colored. So both of them plenty legible day or night, and I'm pretty sure you can set them up where they do the auto light thing too. I'm sure, maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, this one definitely. I'm not sure if the Rangeman does. The Frogman does for sure. So G-Shocks are addicting, guys, whether you're collecting the squares or some of the larger models. I prefer the digital ones. There is a new Frogman coming out that is an analog handset. I am definitely going to get that in to take a look at it. But I'm kind of definitely in the camp with my buddy Michael, where they should be digital. And like I said, quite frankly, I mean, the squares are where my passion lies, and they're all digital. I couldn't imagine an analog square. That would just be silly. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next vid.